Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Jerry Petito show on D.A.M.O.N looks. How cool is this? This is just so cool. All right, so today's show is organic versus GMO. Okay, part two. So I want you to check out part one. So part two is an incredible, enlightening show. But I do have to say something on behalf of DJ Olasky, Brother O from Beverly Nation and D.A.M.O.N. We celebrate the election of Honeybee, DJ Olasky, into the International Internet Radio Hall of Fame as contributor to Sound and Art of Music, class of 2019, effective immediately. Imagine that, guys. That's right. Congratulations, Brother O. I just had to say that. Okay, he's not gonna love that, but I had to. So, all right, guys. First thing I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna read my poem. That's important because that's going to show you guys exactly, it's going to tell you exactly what today's show is about, and you'll get a really great idea. Okay? Organic is the way to go. It's higher priced. This I know. It doesn't make sense to many of you. The reason is simple: to keep us sick too. It's cheaper to eat all the poison they sell, to add to our food so we don't stay well. They don't want us healthy. They want us real sick. It's your choice to make, but you better be quick. They're polluting our water. They're polluting our soil. Our food source is toxic, makes my blood boil. If we ate more healthy, the doctors would yell, because then they'd be broke with no BS to sell. I stay away as much as I can. I'd rather listen to my body than any other man. Organic farmers are becoming more scarce. GMOs are the future. Health's a thing of the past. So wake up, America. Please take a stand. Our food source is vital, and so is our land. GMOs and pesticides were never meant to be eaten by a human being far back as I can see. It's not just our food. All products we share, all products we use, poisoning our products. I call this abuse. Our toothpaste is toxic, goes straight in our mouth. All of our home care, what is this about? Even baby products, yep, I kid you not. Our kids should be all safe. This makes me really hot. The chemicals and toxins they add to our stuff. This country's getting crazy. Staying healthy's getting rough. So don't be governed by power and greed. You have a right to know what goes into your food source now, organic or GMO. So guys, I hope you understand that a little bit, because we have choices and, we have brains, and we really need to start utilizing that. Okay. Don't just take everything you're told for granted. Okay. Even me today, what I'm telling you, don't take it for granted. Okay. Check it out. Research. Some of the info I'm going to give you, research it. You're going to find out that everything I'm telling you is true, but I want you to also research it. Okay. So, I'm going to start off with telling you guys some food codes, because this is really important. I actually carry food codes around with me. All right. See, the little sticky labels that they put on? That's not really what I look at. All right. I do my best to try and buy things that are already prepackaged, that have the USDA grade green circle on it. That's reliable. Believe it or not, that's reliable. So, all those little stickies that are on the different fruits everywhere, I don't really trust that sometimes, because the stores put those little stickies on. Think about that, okay? So, but everything has food codes. They're little barcodes. And if you check it out, you'll be really surprised. Some things that might say organic or natural might have a wrong food code. And that's going to tell you the truth. Okay? So, the food codes are this. Organic will have 9. 9, okay? GMO, 8. Conventional, 4 digits. Got that? So organic will have 9 digits. GMOs will have 8 digits. Conventional will have 4 digits. Okay? Just so you know and you understand that. All right. What are GMOs? Are GMOs safe? Why do farmers grow GMO crops? We know there are a lot of questions regarding GMOs, genetically modified organisms. Let's start with the basics. Okay? What are GMOs? When people refer to genetically modified organisms, they are referring to crops developed through genetic engineering, a more precise method of plant breeding. Genetic engineering, also referred to as biotechnology, allows plant breeders to take a desirable trait found in nature and transfer it from one plant or organism to the plant they want to improve. Okay? As well as make a change to an existing trait in a plant they are developing. Some examples of desirable traits commonly transferred include resistance to insects and disease and tolerance to herbicides that allow farmers to better control weeds. Okay, so let's talk about that for a minute. I mean, because that sounds like really great, right? We would love that resistance, right, from all insects. But think about nature. Think about why there are these insects and why these plants, why insects go to certain plants. Okay, all insects don't go to all plants. You have different insects that go to different plants. There's also a reason in nature for that. Uh, you know, I'm a firm believer in natural as possible. Things are getting so crazy that they're making it almost impossible even for organic farmers. They're spraying the crops from the skies. I mean, it's crazy. It's like we have to have these greenhouses that barricade everything, right? The soil's still becoming toxic. It's crazy, but do your best because there's still some sources out there in farms, natural farms, you can get your stuff from. All right. Organic meat, poultry, eggs, and dairy products come from animals that are given no antibiotics or growth hormones. Organic food is produced without using most conventional pesticides, fertilizers made with synthetic ingredients, or sewage sludge. Got that? Bioengineering or ionizing radiation. Got that? Okay. USDA certified organic foods are grown and processed according to federal guidelines addressing, among many factors, soil quality, animal raising practices, pest and weed control, and use of additives. Organic producers rely on natural substances and physical, mechanical, or biologically based farming methods to the fullest extent possible. And that means sort of like back in the day, farms. My Nana died at 100 years old about 12 years ago. She lived on a farm most of her life in Italy until she came to the United States. I mean, she gave birth on the farms, okay? They didn't have running water. I mean, imagine what they saw, where they came from to today, what my grandmother saw. She even saw some computers, right? Having no running water, no toilets, right? All that. But they were on to something. They knew. And here's the best part about that. We have so much information at our fingertips. We should be brilliant. Okay, they were so much more brilliant than we are at times because no one had to tell them. They instinctively knew. I'm using the word instinctively to make you guys understand that's nature, natural. Okay, that's how the human body was made, and that's how we were designed to live. So back then, okay, they also knew things like starve a fever and feed a cold. Who told them that? It's crazy. Okay. We don't even do that. I cured myself of 2 cancers almost 30 years ago. Okay. And I'm here to say that I did it without the medical field. I was really sick and I went away and I got certified in fasting. And I've traveled all over the world behind the scenes for healthcare. And, what I've seen is so shocking compared to what goes on here and what they allow in other countries. So what I want to say about that is this: starve a fever and feed a cold, okay? Fasting. When animals are sick, they don't eat. Fasting can cure any disease, okay? I'm proof of that. I went on 2 months water, okay? Cured me. Because when your body is being forced to eat off of itself, it eats the healthy cells last, and that's when you go into starvation mode. So it eats the sick cells first. So when your body is done fasting, it will tell you you'll wake up starving, and then you have to properly learn how to break the fast, okay? Because it will only go after your healthy cells if you don't feed it at that point. Okay, guys? So there's so much out there about fasting. That'll be another show. But I'm telling you that because I'm letting you know that our ancestors knew. Okay, they didn't have any GMOs and all this nonsense. So now I want to tell you about the clean 15 list and the dirty dozen. So the clean 15 list, it's now up to about 21. Okay, so these items, these food items, are items that I still buy organic. I try to buy 100% organic if possible. But if you can't really afford too much organic, whatever, these are not the worst ones to get. These are the best ones to get that are not organic, okay? Number 1, avocados. Number 2, sweet corn, pineapples, frozen sweet peas. Okay, guys? Onions, papayas, eggplants, asparagus, kiwis, cabbage, cauliflower, cantaloupe, broccoli, mushrooms, honeydew, mangoes, okay, grapefruit, oranges, bananas, and pumpkins. It's up to 20. I'm sorry, 20. So that's the clean 15, the clean 20, really, now, okay? The reason why these are okay to buy if you can't buy organic is this: their skins, a lot of them, they can't get penetrated in, okay? Like your honeydews, your avocados, all that. Some of the others, okay, like asparagus and broccoli, some of the others, believe it or not, don't get too sprayed because too many bugs don't really go after them, so they don't have to really get sprayed. Okay, guys? So it's crazy. There's a reason for all of this. All melons are okay because of their thick rinds. Watermelons, everything, okay? Because of their thick rinds. So it's hard to penetrate through that. So that's okay. I still, like I said, do my best to get everything organic, but it's not the end of the world if these are not, okay? Now, I want to talk about quinoa because this is actually interesting because I didn't even really know this until recently, okay? The coating is nearly impermeable to pests. Pests hate it. So growers don't even bother spraying it. That's quinoa. A lot of you are laughing out there. A lot of you don't even know what it is, okay? So, but check it out. It's delicious, all right? So get it. And it's super healthy for you. Maple syrup, guys. It's usually forest harvested from untreated trees. FYI, though, all syrups are not 100% syrup. Choose pure maple syrups. Let's talk about that a little bit, what they're doing with the maple syrup, okay? Maple syrup at this point, for some reason, like Aunt Jemima, all these brands, whatever, check them out because most of them are high fructose corn syrup. They're not even real maple syrup anymore, okay? So you want to make sure, because maple syrup really is a really healthy sweetener for our bodies. So you want to make sure that it's 100% natural, all pure maple syrup, please. Okay, guys, especially if you give it to your kids. Okay, so now I want to talk to you about the new Dirty Dozen. There's now about 15 items on this one. All right. So what that means is this: under no circumstances should you ever, 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 ever eat these food products unless they're USDA grade organic, because these food products that I'm about to share with you carry the majority of pesticides and chemicals on them and in them, that no matter what you do, you can't get rid of the chemicals. So it's almost completely toxic to eat if they're not organic, completely 100% toxic. Okay, guys, give me a sip. I have a problem with my throat today. So anyway, I'm going to share these with you as well. These are vital, okay? The number one, strawberries. And the reason why that's so important is this: we all love strawberries. We give them to our kids, right? It's one of the most horrendous things you could eat unless it's USDA grade organic. One of the most toxic, okay? The next one is spinach. Number two, that's number two, okay? Come on, guys, really take serious what I'm telling you. 3 is kale. Yep, and I'm sure a lot of you are laughing, saying, oh, I don't need it anyway. Well, let me tell you something. You should. Kale is one of the most healthy greens you could put in your body, okay? It can cure a lot of diseases, okay? All greens, okay? But kale, come on, give it a shot. Nectarines, apples, grapes, peaches, cherries, pears. You're not going to like the next one. Tomatoes. Tomatoes, guys. Celery. Potatoes. Bell peppers. Yep, bell peppers. Cucumbers. And you're not going to like the last one. Eggs. Incredibly toxic. Okay? Also, all meats and dairy. All. Got that? All leafy greens. Like I said, it's easy for the stuff to stay on these, the coating of it. So leafy greens, lettuce, collards, all of it. Okay? Try to only eat that organic. Okay, guys? Now, the last one, excuse me, the last one, I'm going to shock everybody out there. Okay? When I learned about this also shocked me. Coffee. Conventional coffee is among the world's most chemically treated foods. Do you believe that? That was hard for me to swallow, okay? My coffee in my home is all organic, but I've had coffee out, okay? Until I learned this, I didn't realize that. It's crazy. So I want you to understand that. I want to tell you guys about 3 shows that's on Netflix that everyone out there needs to watch. Okay? If you don't believe me, you're going to have to believe these shows, because these shows are incredible. They're going to show you facts and give you all this information that's going to blow your minds. Some of you may have seen some of these. Most of you probably haven't. So I'm asking you all to check out these shows on Netflix. The first one is called What the Health. Yep. You're going to see shocking, shocking things. I wouldn't let your kids watch these. You have to view them first, okay? Shocking things. With our food source, with animals, you'll see. Okay? A lot of great, incredible information. Now, Cowspiracy. You guys want to see that. Some of you might cry. And I understand that. I understand why. Because to be honest with you, I even cried a little bit. Okay? And I'll explain a little bit about that. I'll tell you on this show. And then Forks Over Knives. Forks Over Knives is an incredible show. These 3 are a lot of interesting information, a lot of vital information that if you take to heart could change your life, could change your health. Okay, guys? Cowspiracy. I want to talk a little bit about that. I want to tell you guys a little bit about what goes on in the meat industry. Okay. So I think it would be safe to say 100% of ground beef out there, unless it's from, you know, maybe a local farm or, you know, a farm that doesn't do certain things, more organic. Okay, they take care of their animals and no chemicals, no pesticides, and they still have them grazing on grass in the sunlight, right? Um, that would be okay. But other than that, if that's not going on, I'm going to tell you what is going on. Okay, so this is really sad. Um, so there was a reason why back in the day cows grazed on grass and under the sun, because the sun is needed for the vitamin D, and the grass that they ate provided it. So they got their nutrients from the grass and the sun. So their meat was healthier for humans to consume. Okay? You understand that? So, in order for that meat, that cow, to have healthier meat for humans to consume and give the human body the protein and whatever it's needed, right? It needed the sun and the grass. That's no longer provided, okay, for the majority of farms out there, farmers, companies, I should say. Okay, that's no longer provided. So that show, Cowspiracy, is going to show you a lot of different things, but I'm going to tell you a couple things. It shows how all the cows are now in buildings, in these big giant barns with no windows for no sunlight, no grass. Okay, they're on slabs of cement. They're given soy and corn, which 90% of that, probably, if my numbers are correct, in this country are GMO. So be careful with soy. That wasn't on list. It's another thing. Soy absolutely needs to be 100% organic, non-GMO, and fermented is best. Fermented soy like tempeh. Super healthy, super healthy. Don't listen to what they're saying about soy. I'll tell you about that in a minute. So the cows. So they're fed GMO soy and corn. Their bodies were never meant to eat that. So they've got all these cows lined up, hundreds and hundreds of them in these giant farms. In these giant barns. So the cows are hooked up to this machine. They have this giant pole hooked up to their stomachs that go up into the ceiling and out. Okay. So every day, because their bodies were not meant to eat corn or soy, the workers have to clean out their stomach lining. So every cow has a hole, a giant hole in their stomach while they're hooked up to this pole. So they have to clean their stomach lining out every day, because their body's not processing that. So here's these poor cows hooked up to this giant machine, and they're all standing there. They can never lay down. Okay, they're standing there hooked up and fed this toxic stuff, this toxic waste to them. Then their stomach linings have to be cleaned out. So at one point, if I believe I'm accurate, at one point they would discard the bad toxic meat around that stomach lining that was poisoned. Okay? But they no longer want to do that either, because that was too much waste. So now they take that, put it through a tube, and it goes into the solution filled with bleach. So it kind of kills that disease from that piece of the meat that was right around the stomach. And then they put it through a process and they put color back into it so it looks like ground beef. And then they make that your ground beef, guys, because I'm a vegan. They make that your ground beef. and that is your hamburger meat that is sold on every shelf. So if you watch that show, Cowspiracy, you're going to see it. All right, you'll see a lot. I'm not feeling too great today, guys. So anyway, I want you to check that out. And like I said, don't let your kids see it with you until you view it first. Have some tissues with you, and you'll get a lot of information out of that. The other two shows, What the Health and Forks Over Knives, and they'll give you a lot of great information as well. All three of those are my favorites. And you're going to be blown away. If this is like one of the first times you're hearing all this, you're going to be really, truly blown away by the information that these shows give you. Okay? So I want to talk a little bit about soy. So, everyone believes for some reason that soy is no good. Soy is not healthy. Soy causes cancer, breast cancer, prostate cancer, on and on and on and on. Okay, well, I'm here to tell you that's crap. All right, so when I had the breast cancer, soy saved my life. I'm going to tell you what else is good, ladies. Soy is good for menopause. I did not go through any symptoms. The only thing I struggle with is not sleeping as much. But I'm also getting older, and I understand that that's just part of it. So I'm working on that. But other than that, soy saved my life. Again, you have to make sure that it's 100% organic, non-GMO, and preferably fermented. They even have fermented soy milk out there. Okay? So I'm going to tell you a little bit about soy now. So we are led to believe by corporate America, pharmaceutical industry, because they don't want you to know the truth. So we are led to believe that soy puts estrogen into our bodies, and that's what causes the breast cancer, prostate cancer, on and on, right? That's a lie. Soy does not put estrogen or progesterone in our bodies. Soy is an incredible, incredible plant, the soybean. And what it does when you ingest it is it allows your stored estrogen and progesterone to come out as needed. Got that? We all have estrogen and progesterone in our bodies, right? We have to. Okay? So sometimes we need a little bit of it. And that helps our body say, okay, come on, we need a little bit of you, so let's come out. So soy doesn't put it in our bodies. Okay? I had the opportunity many years ago of going to Asia for a month. I went all over Asia through Lenox Hill Hospital at the time. A cousin of mine worked there, and we got this great opportunity. We even went to Russia back in the 80s when it was still communist on a health tour through them. I'll never forget this as long as I live. So we arrive in Japan, I believe it was. We arrive in Japan, and they had just brought McDonald's over there. So they never had McDonald's before that. So, of course, all the Americans were super excited to go over and check out McDonald's. So we go, and my cousin ordered a Coke, and she took a sip of it and spit it out. She was like, oh my God, there's something wrong with this. And I tasted it, and I'm not a soda drinker even then, but I tasted it. I was like, oh my gosh, this is bad, So we get the tour guides, and they started laughing at us, and they said, nope, it's not bad. The Coke in the States is really bad. You see, these companies, McDonald's, even Starbucks, I went behind the scenes in Australia with Starbucks. I watched them crack open organic eggs. They have an organic coffee bar, soy milk, almond milk. It was craziness. All right. So these big companies here, if they want to bring their company to these other countries, the only way they'll allow it is if they change their formula with the amount of salt, processed stuff, and sugar. They won't allow it. So they can come to their countries, but they have to change the formulas. So instead of, I believe it's 9 1/4 teaspoons of high fructose corn syrup in 1 can of Coke. That's what I believe it is today. Very close if I'm not 100% accurate. Back then in the 80s, they only allowed them to put 1 teaspoon of real sugar, not even high fructose corn syrup back then. All right. So we know our food is toxic here. It's almost like they need to keep us sick because we pay for our own health insurance here. So if we're healthy, the pharmaceutical industry, corporate America, they don't make money on us. Keep that in mind if we're healthy. So they don't want to keep us healthy. Okay? These other countries, the majority of these countries pay for their health care, the governments, right? So they want to keep their people happy and healthy and safe. That's the difference with a lot of things that go on here. So, I would urge everyone out there to please, please, please take everything that I'm saying really seriously and check this stuff out for yourself. This stuff is vital. I can only give you the information, and I'll give you all the information you want. You can get in touch with me on Facebook, friend me, okay? You can message me on Facebook. You can give me your email. I'll send you information. I'm here to help you. Okay, guys? I'm also a nutritional health coach. I'm also a recovery coach. I also wrote a book on addiction called I'm Not an Addict. I'm Just an Ass. I'd rather be a smart ass than a dumb ass. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about this because it's all connected. Okay? It's all connected. So before I go into my book, I want to talk to you guys about some foods. Now, there is a reason, I call it God's pharmacy because I believe in God. And if you don't, that's okay. But we all believe in something, right? We all believe that, even nature versus nurture. I mean, we all believe in something. So nature was made for a reason, right? Okay. So I'm going to go through some of these foods with you. And then I'm going to show you a couple pictures. Well, a few photos. So we're going to talk about walnuts first, kidney beans, and celery, bok choy, rhubarb. Okay, let me see if I can show you those photos. Yes, I can. Great. Okay, do you see those photos, guys? Okay, so a walnut looks like a little brain, a left and right hemisphere, upper cerebrums and lower cerebellums. Even the wrinkles or folds on the nut are just like the neocortex. We know now walnuts help develop more than 3 dozen neuron transmitters for brain function. Can you imagine that? So nature knew. Let's make the walnut look like the brain so they know they have to eat it for their brain. Crazy. All right. And I don't mean roasted, salted, oiled. I mean unroasted, unsalted. Okay, preferably organic. You can go to Whole Foods, okay? Get them there, whatever, but you can eat them like that, okay? Now, the kidney beans. Let's talk about that. I know you know where I'm going with this, right? They actually help and heal and maintain kidney function. And yes, they look exactly like the human kidney. Come on. Come on, guys. Now, let's talk about celery, bok choy, and rhubarb, right? Many more look just like bones. Okay? Think about that. These foods specifically target bone strength. Imagine that. Not dairy. And I'll tell you about that too in a minute. These foods. Bones are 23% sodium, and these foods are 23% sodium. Imagine that. If you don't have enough sodium in your diet, the body pulls it from the bones, thus making them weak. These foods replenish the skeletal needs of the body. I want to talk about calcium with the bones first before I forget. The food pyramid. If anyone doesn't know, research this. That was an ad. I think it was in the 40s or 50s from the dairy industry. That was an ad. That wasn't supposed to be our food pyramid. They hooked up with corporate America, said, come on, let's get together on this. We can all make some cash. Let's make it the food pyramid and put it in the schools. That's what happened. It was an ad from the dairy industry. Dairy depletes calcium from our bones. It does not put calcium in. They added the calcium, but while it was still depleting our calcium, you see the crap right there? Okay? No other animal except the humans drink dairy from another animal. See, dairy was only meant for the moms to feed their babies. That's it. Okay, guys, keep that in mind. Research that. So I'm going to show you 3 more photos. Got it? 3 more. Olives, oranges, and onions. Got it? Okay. So, olives assist the health and function of the ovaries. Isn't that crazy? What do they look like? The ovaries. Oranges, grapefruits, and other citrus fruits look just like the mammary glands of the female and actually assist the health of the breasts and the movement of lymph in and out of breasts. Imagine that. True story. Okay. Onions. They look just like the body cells. Today's research shows onions help clear waste materials from all the body cells. They even produce tears, which wash the, I always say this word wrong, epithelial layers of the eyes. I don't think I said that right, but you get it, right? A working companion. Garlic also helps eliminate waste materials and dangerous free radicals from the body. There's a reason why our eyes tear when we cut onions, guys. All right? I get very passionate when I talk about these things. Okay. I'm going to show you these 3. Okay? All right? Avocados, figs, potatoes. All right, you ready? I hope you're ready. Avocados, eggplant, and pears target the health function of the womb and cervix of the female. They look just like these organs. Today's research shows when a woman eats 1 avocado a week, it balances hormones, sheds unwanted birth weight, and prevents cervical cancers. How profound is this? It takes exactly, listen to what I'm going to tell you, it takes exactly 9 months to grow an avocado from blossom to ripened fruit. There are over 14,000 photolytic chemical constituents of nutrition in each one of these foods. Modern science has only studied and named about 141 of them. So it takes 9 months for an avocado to completely grow, and it takes 9 months for a baby. And that's what these avocados are also good for. There's other things. It's the healthiest fat you could put in your body. People say, oh, avocados are fattening. Stop it while you're eating a bag of chips and garbage, right? And processed foods that you don't look at the labels. Nobody looks at those labels, okay? But this is fattening? Come on, stop it. This is the healthiest fat you could put in your body. I try to have an avocado almost every single day. That's right. You heard me. So now, let's talk about figs. Figs are full of seeds. This is funny. Come on, men. Figs are full of seeds and hang in twos when they grow. Do you know where we're going with this? Figs increase the mobility of male sperm and increase the numbers of sperm as well to overcome male sterility. Okay, so you get what I just said? It looks like 2 testicles growing, and that's what it's good for. How is that just a coincidence? How is this all just a coincidence? Stop. All right. Sweet potatoes look just like the pancreas and actually balance the glycemic index of diabetes. How about that? Listen, if any of you out there think that you're going to get diabetes from sweet potatoes, you're acting like a fool. I'm sorry. I have to be blunt. Okay? That will also help your diabetes. Okay, guys? Just saying. So now, it's been said that God first separated the salt water from the fresh, made dry land, planted a garden, made animals and fish, all before making a human. He made and provided what we'd need before we were born. And these are the best and more powerful when eaten raw. We're such slow learners, right? Excuse me, guys. So I'm going to show you the last three. Okay? All right, guys. Okay? So we have carrot, tomato, and grapes. You ready? I hope you're ready for this. It's been said that God first separated the salt water from the fresh, like I had just said, right? Now think about that for 1 minute. I want you to really understand that. It's been said that God first separated the salt water from the fresh. He made the dry land. He planted a garden. He made animals and fish. All before making a human. Okay? Think about that. This is important. Okay? Even if you don't believe in God, something created this, created it before the human. These things were made and provided for us, for what we needed before we were even born. Okay? Do you understand that? All right. Now, here's really what's cool. I love this, and this is why I call it God's pharmacy. God left us a great clue as to what foods help what part of our body. God's pharmacy. Amazing, right? Let's talk about the carrot. When you slice a sliced carrot looks like the human eye. Try it. It looks like the pupil, iris, radiating lines. It looks just like the human eye. And yes, you all know that. Science has proved carrots greatly enhance blood flow to and function of the eyes. Okay, you've heard that growing up, right? Eat carrots. Carrots are good for your eyes. Imagine that, and it looks like an eye. Come on. Now, this is really cool too. They're all cool. Every time I read these, they're just so cool to me. All right, a tomato. A tomato has 4 chambers and is red. The heart has 4 chambers and is red. All of the research shows tomatoes are loaded with lycopene and are indeed pure heart and blood food. Think about that. When you slice a tomato open, there are 4 chambers and they're red. And this is good for your heart. I mean, come on. I don't know. It's craziness. All right. Or is it? Now, grapes. This is the last one I'm going to share with you. Grapes hang in a cluster that has the shape of a heart. Each grape looks like a blood cell. And all of the research today shows grapes are also profound heart and blood vitalizing food. Did you guys know that? So eat your grapes. They're also good for your heart. And the sugar, it's natural, real sugar that your body needs. Fruit, sugar fruit, right? All that is healthy, natural. That's what you need, not processed sugars that you're willing to eat and not question. That's what cracks me up. All right. Now, I want to talk to you a little bit about addiction. Okay. The reason why I like to tie it in is because a big part of addiction is our food. A big part of what happens to people is, I'm going to share one thing with most of you that you may know already and most of you may not. All right, sugar. 100%, 100% of all addicts are absolutely addicted to sugar. Okay? And if any of them tell you they're not, they're lying. What's sad for me, and I'll tell you about the sugar, but what's sad for me is that the majority of rehabs out there, they have vending machines filled with sugar. They allow them to have sugar while they're in there. So what that's really doing is this. It's keeping them more calm as they're detoxing because the brain thinks you're still giving it a drug. You see, the brain cannot decipher between sugar as a food or heroin, opioids. It thinks you're giving it a drug. Because when we put processed sugar into our bodies, not the fruit sugar, not maple syrup, not the good stuff from plants that God gave us, no. Stevia is also healthy. It's from a plant. So when we put in toxic refined sugars, hey, Mackie, I see you out there. It's like our brain is saying, thank you for another drug. All right. So once that happens, right, our bodies now are being fooled with that food source, that so-called food source. So, organic and GMO is only like a piece of what's happening with our food source out there. All right. And unfortunately, they want to keep us eating it. They want to keep us sick. I shared that a little bit, right? They want to keep us sick because they don't make money if we're healthy. So, what makes me really sad and sickened for addicts is that they don't even really know this. And some of them might be told it and they still might choose to do it anyway and have the sugar and all that. But we should be informed. We should know what's happening and what's going into our bodies. And that's just not what goes on. So I want to tell you about the grocery store. So this is pretty interesting as well. So everything is marketing, right? They also have professional marketers that come in and they tell the grocery store owners where to place certain foods. So if you ever notice, okay, so the exterior, like if you ever notice, if you go into a grocery store, you'll go to the exterior, to the far back probably, and that's where all your produce is, all the healthy stuff, right? But when you walk in, that's not the first thing you're going to see. So when you walk in, and especially if you have kids with you in the cart, their eyes are going to go immediately to the sugary snacks, the cereals, the candy, right? Toys, whatever it is. So they have all this stuff there, right there as soon as you walk in. And they place all the sugary cereals eye level with a child in the grocery cart. And they do that on purpose so that when the mom's pushing their kid, they could be, mommy, 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 and start grabbing at all these cereals. All right. That's great marketing, isn't it? Right? Here's the sad part about that. They market them as healthy cereals. These boxed cereals are the furthest thing from healthy. The furthest thing. Did you hear me? Okay. So, I wouldn't give them to my kid. I wouldn't give them to my grandchildren. And I just thank God that my daughter's on board and we've done all this incredible stuff for our kids. And I just wish you guys would do the same, because this is what happens to the brain. Once that child starts eating sugar at such a young age, their body is now addicted to it. Okay. And that's where all these health issues come in. And that's, unfortunately, so many kids today with all these allergies, right? It's insane. It's off the wall. I remember growing up, and there might have been one or two kids in my school back then in elementary school that had these issues, one or two. Now you're lucky if one or two don't have an issue. So sugar is a culprit. Sugar is a drug. So once these kids start getting sugar in their bodies, their brain starts reacting to it. They're now addicted to sugar. If you try to take your child off of sugar, unfortunately, you know what's going to happen, because I'm sure you've all tried it. All right. So that's really sad, heartbreaking to me. And that's what starts addiction at such a young, early age. And like I said before in the beginning of this, 1 can of Coke, 9¼ teaspoons of high fructose corn syrup. Imagine that. So think about this. Would you take 9¼ teaspoons of high fructose corn syrup, put it in a little cup, and give it to your kid and say, here, drink this? I doubt it. But yet, we don't even think about what's in the sugary drinks we give them, even juices, unless they're homemade, unless you squeeze your own juice like I've done for 30 years, 25 years. They're crap. Okay, there's some good brands out there now that you can go and buy and read. But see, you have to read, make sure. Because even some of the things that say all juice or pure, read the labels, because I guarantee you most of them are not. Okay, and that's another thing. We allow certain things. We allow the word natural. We allow the word organic, again, unless it's USDA grade organic in the green circle. Other than that, we allow these words to be used even if 20 things are wrong. Okay? There's always exceptions that are being made to fool us. So get educated. Start reading labels, read things, and you'll come to your own conclusions. So, addiction. We're going to talk about that. Unfortunately, and it's not just with drugs, it's not just alcohol, It could be with anything. Okay. Dave Mackey, if you're still listening, I want you to type all your information. Maybe you could help someone out there with this show today. Okay. Dave Mackey is a counselor for addiction. And he helps a lot of men with sexual addiction as well. So hopefully he'll put his info out there and you could always get in touch with him. Anyway, the reason why I want to talk about that is because it's part of the problem. The GMOs, the genetically modified foods, think about that. They're making your food in laboratories. Are you kidding? That's not okay. If your food is grown inside a plant, do not eat it. If your food is grown outside as a plant, eat it. Okay, see the difference there? All right. So addiction happens to the majority of us based on our life experiences, us growing up, right? So there's all different factors. But if you are addicted to food, let's talk about that. There's reasons why. Okay. So food addiction is because of the additives in our foods. Food addictions are because of the amount of sugars in our foods. Food addiction occurs because of GMOs today. Okay, and a lot of things are GMO that you don't even know. So always look for that label as well, non-GMO. Okay, it's very, very, very important, guys. So let's see, what else can I touch base on about organic versus GMO? Oh, you know what? I want to talk about this a little bit. So, like I said, back in the day, right? Back in the day when people had farms, 100 years ago, 150 years ago, people had farms, right? All right. I want to talk a little bit about that as well, about what's happened with our food. So, the cow. So, really, the cow had one job. Okay, the cow had one job. I'm losing my train of thought here. The pig, pork. Okay, the pig had one job. Okay, everybody and every animal on the farm had a job. Okay, they all had a job. So I want to talk to you a little bit about the cow, and then I want to talk to you a little bit about the pig. This is really important, guys, okay? So back then, if a family, killed one of their cows for meat for the family, that cow lasted that family a year. Do you understand? A year. And that family was probably 9 to 14 people. So in the wintertime, that's when they needed that food. So when they were putting the food, the mom would make a little piece of steak, say this big, and they would cut it in little pieces, and everybody got a little piece. So your body could properly digest that. It was just a little piece. Okay? Today, let's talk about it. Big Mac. I mean, I don't even know. I don't even go into these places, but now I mean, you can get something with 4 burgers on it probably, right? The bigger the better. I mean, it's crazy. 24-ounce steaks. I mean, come on. Our bodies were never, ever, ever meant ever to digest that much in one sitting. So they even knew back then when they had their meat how little to have. The majority of what they did eat was all their veggies. Okay. And again, they, in the wintertime, that's when they had to eat their meat and save it for that. So that was really the cow's role with that, right? Let's talk about the pig. So again, even if you don't believe in God, scientists can prove when the biblical books were written by, okay, even if you believe they were written by man, I believe they were inspired by God. But I'm saying this for a reason. So they were written thousands of years ago, right? They were instructed never to eat shellfish or pigs. Never. Pork, never. Okay, I'm going to tell you why. Because the only role of the pig was to clean the land, their farms. They're the only animal that cannot release toxins from their body. So you're eating all that junk. Okay, so that's why they were instructed never to eat that. And seafood, as far as shellfish, their job was only to clean the bottoms of the ocean. So Google something else, guys. Lobsters were prisoners' food. Yep, that's right, because they knew it was real trash and garbage, never to be consumed by humans. Okay, so think about that, what the lobster industry did. Let's make a ton of money on these stupid Americans. Got it? So everything that I'm telling you is fact. You can Google and research everything I'm telling you and re-research it and re-research it. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave you guys with a poem from my book on addiction. I might actually read two of the poems. Actually, I will. So let's see what we got here. I want to read. Okay. I might have time, and I think I do, to read three small poems. All right. So the first one is called Maintenance. And it's not just with addiction, guys, it's with everything in your life. Okay. You need to maintain an honest, good life. No more backstabbing like a thief with a knife. Take personal notes of how you are doing. Keep everything honest so nothing is stewing. Perfect we're not, but keep this in mind. If you do something wrong, make it right and be kind. I'm not an addict. This too shall pass. I'm not an addict. I'm just an ass. Choose wisely, guys. Again, I'd rather be a smartass than a dumbass. All right? So now, whatever it is, if it's sugar, if it's processed foods, if it is a drug, if it's alcohol, whatever it is, right? Food, it doesn't matter. Put down the gun. Put down the gun. You have that power. I had to have this purple gun just in case my life was done. I kept it safe, locked in my room, because I was filled with gloom and doom. Yes, there were times that I just knew if I loaded it up, what I could do. But I kept on hearing that gentle voice, put down that gun, you have that choice. Life may seem hard at the end of the day. That's when you need to really pray. Dear Father, I beg you to show me the truth. How can life be so bad when I'm only a youth? Get rid of that gun. Go take a shower. Ask someone for help. You do have that power. Guys, it's important that you understand that you have the power over anything, including food. So research everything I've said. All right? So now, you know what I think I'm going to do? I'm going to end the show with my poem on organic versus GMO again. I think that's important. I'm going to read that. Excuse me. Let me grab that. All right. So I'm going to read that one again because this is important. Okay. So organic is the way to go. It's higher priced. Yes, this I know. It doesn't make sense to many of you. The reason is simple: to keep us sick too. It's cheaper to eat all the poison they sell, to add to our food so we don't stay well. They don't want us healthy. They want us real sick. It's your choice to make, but you better be quick. They're polluting our water. They're polluting our soil. Our food source is toxic, makes my blood boil. If we ate more healthy, the doctors would yell because then they'd be broke with no BS to sell. I stay away as much as I can. I'd rather listen to my body than any other man. Organic farmers are becoming more scarce. GMOs are the future. Health's a thing of the past. So wake up, America. Please take a stand. Our food source is vital, and so is our land. GMOs and pesticides were never meant to be eaten by a human being, far back as I can see. It's not just our food, all products we use. Poisoning our products, I call this abuse. Our toothpaste is toxic, goes straight in our mouth. All of our home care, what's this all about? Even baby products. Yep, I kid you not, our kids should be safe. This makes me really hot. The chemicals and toxins they add to our stuff, this country's getting crazy. Staying healthy is getting rough. So don't be governed by power and greed. You have a right to know what goes into your food source now. Is it organic or GMO? Guys, get in touch with me because I can tell you what products to use, what foods to buy, and what labels to look for. All right. I want to thank you all for listening. Dave Mackey shared his info. If anybody is out there struggling with any kind of addiction, both of us can help you, especially if you're a male. He can help you, especially with sexual addiction. Okay, guys? So on that note, I just want to say thank you again to everyone. Thank you to Damon Lux for giving me this opportunity. Thank you to Brother Alasky and all my viewers and all my listeners. Okay, so everybody out there, have a really great day. Thank you, guys.